Okay. It's time for the per usual Umineko. All right. Here we go. Okay, is it still F7, F8? Let me see. Okay, it is. Ooh. That's right. Okay, so what was it? Last time there was like some big cinematic. I remember that happened. It showed like each and every different character, like where they were in the mansion at that time, and I think I got an achievement. I was like, okay, now the real games begin or something like that. I think that's what happened last time. It's been a minute. It's a week every single time. But let's see.
この旅のゲームはどう転ぶのか。委ねるもよし、抗うもよし。いずれにせよ、わしに残されたわずかの命をトスに値する実に楽しい宴よ。
In this dimly lit study, it occasionally brightened by light. Kenzo kept mumbling and laughing to himself. On the antique clock with the intricate design that had been sitting on his desk, the two overlapping hands tilted to the right and began to slide. The measure of time that counted up to 24 had returned to 0, and I began to count back again. Oh shit.
時の刻みとは残酷なものよ。
Hold on, I forgot my water bottle. One second, I forgot my water bottle. Forgot that I put it in the fridge.
24を数えるために1日をかけてたどり着き、そして再び0に戻る。23時59分までは確かに数えただろう。しかし、24時にたどり着くことはできたのだろうか。たどり着けず、再び0時に戻ったと考えれば、それはなんとも虚しいことよ。
Yeah, it never does hit that 24, huh? But perhaps a person's life is the same. You live aiming for a perfect 24, and in the instant you reach it, you return to 0. People will probably praise the departed, saying that he did reach 24, but he most certainly did not. In the end, he's a 0.
わしは違うぞ。わしは生きて24にたどり着く。そここそが黄金鏡。
So the 24 is the golden land, okay.
ベアトリーチェの住処なのだから。
Kenzo had been fumbling around with some tarot cards for some time. It looked as though he was trying to divine his own luck with a contest, doing it over every time he didn't like the result. The most forbidden action in tarot reading is trying to predict the same thing twice. To do so ridicules the results of fortune telling, and also desecrates those beings higher than humans that give revelations to the tarot cards. However, Kenzo knew, tarot cards shouldn't be used twice because since they're nothing more than a random number generator, reading them twice would naturally cause a different result to appear. Therefore, reading them twice was only forbidden to preserve the mystique of the tarot card's results. However, that didn't mean that Kinzo didn't take tarot card reading seriously. Kinzo's interpretation of tarot reading was done in a completely different way. That was to repeat the reading over and over, without giving up in the slightest, until he reached the result most favorable to him. The mark he set for this most favorable result would vary. But when he demanded the most favorable result in a strictly literal sense, it was the same as a simple roulette of luck he seeked in arithmetic miracle. However, Kinzo used miracles for numbers as the basis of his magical power, so this functioned perfectly well as a magical ritual. In other words, until the result he desired appeared perfectly, he would strive to repeat the tarot readings over and over, with conviction, turning the feelings of his heart into prayers, so that when they reached the heavens, they would be sublimated into results. This was Kinzo's personal magic interpretation. Therefore, even though Kinzo's tarot cards were no different from those generally used, the way in which they were used was completely different. And what's that exactly? Kinzo stopped his hands for a second. He seemed not to be getting the results he wanted. On the contrary, bad cards that shouldn't show up so often appeared repeatedly and continued to interfere with the miracle Kinzo wished for. It seems Lady Luck is not on his side. Kinzo seemed to have received some revelation that was different from normal. But, judging by the unlucky cards scattered across his desk, it was difficult to imagine that the omen had been a good one. For a while, Kinzo closed his eyes tightly, pondering something. Then, as the thunder roared, he made up his mind about something, took the telephone receiver, and dialed. Oh? Oh, of course, the Genji. Genji-san. In front of the entrance hall, Shannon's once burning face had been cooled off by the frigid air. She had thought that George's proposal would surely come sooner or later. It wasn't as though she hadn't prepared herself mentally. She had answered by nodding. Had she been reckless because of her youth? Should she have thought about her future more seriously? I wonder if my immediate reply made him think I would cheat her. If I'd at least waited until tomorrow morning, if I'd at least shown him I was taking this seriously? Now that she'd already received the ring from George, Shannon kept fidgeting and embarrassed me. I should have done this. I should have done that. As she did, she heard the sound of footsteps splashing through puddles. Shannon immediately chased away the emotions welling up inside her.
Genji-sama?
Genji?
すみません。すぐに戻らなくて、
She grew stiff, thinking she'd surely be scolded for spending too much time in her secret lover's meeting with George. Is this to fill out the will? I think he did this in the last episode.
はい、かしこまりました。一体何事なの？
不吉な予感がするってさ。
Premonition of misfortune. That sounds like a video game title. I don't know what it would be about.
自分で儀式を起こしたので都合のいい話さ。
Semi-stealth mission? Hide your footsteps too? Interesting. Okay.
はい
I don't hear mission here.
姉さん注意して姉さんは賑やかだから
Kenan was especially good at hiding his footsteps, so I bet. Just like a cat. He was able to suddenly be there without anyone noticing and leaving the same way. You know, for example, even though he stepped in puddles, the sound he made was far smaller than that of the rain hitting him. Genji also had abilities like that. Or rather, those servants called furniture were supposed to be like that. You know, just like how desks and closets go unnoticed by members of the family. These servants also held it as a great virtue to just suddenly be there whenever anyone needed it. Compared to that, Shannon's footsteps still strongly asserted themselves. She was also trying to hide it. Compared to Kenan and Genji, well, you could say she was a little bit more boisterous. You know, eventually, they reached the back door, and the three of them entered the mansion. Oh, not here. Immediately, they felt something. It was different from a sense of smell, and it seemed to hit the depths of their noses. This hard to describe sensation, which you might call a sixth sense, allowed them to perceive that something was different than usual.
源氏様
急ぐぞ。
That sensation made it feel as though a tense something was pressing in around them. Realizing that, the three of them dashed up the stairs, heading for Kinzo's study while still hiding their footsteps. When they dashed up the stairs, that smell of sweet poison particular to Kinzo's study reached their noses.
いかがなさいましたか、源氏様。
結界が死んでいる
The barrier's dead? After hearing Kanan's words, she looked at the door to the study. I mean, they're still engraved with scorpions, so there's a ward on the door. Yeah, a scorpion pattern was engraved on the door. A powerful ward against magic. The final barrier, which protected Kinzo himself. It had been broken? How? They just... Of course, there was no change to the doorknob that the eye could see. That's what I thought. However, those who could understand things people couldn't perceive were able to recognize that a dramatic change had occurred.
親方様。親方様。源氏でございます。ここをお開けください。
Genji called in this way after knocking several times, but there was no answer from the study.
シャノン、背中を守れ。カノン、室内を探れ。
Now that I think about it, he's the only servant. Okay. The only servant that I think has powers that hasn't shown them off yet. Last one, we saw Shannon's. And then I think... Oh no, actually... Episode 1 didn't have any, no. I think episode 2 had both Kanon and Shannon's. So I think Genji's the only one who I haven't seen yet.
はい
Candy put his ear against the door, searching for a presence inside the study. To protect the backs of the pair watching the door, Shannon faced the other way, ready for the unexpected.
親方様はいらっしゃられるはずですですが静かすぎます
ご無事だということか。
いいえ静かがすぎます
What could have possibly gotten to Kenzo in the amount of time it took to hang up the phone and then for them to get up here?
まさかそんな。
親方様、扉を失礼させていただきます。
Genji pulled a gold key out of his pocket. It was the only key to the study that existed other than the one Kinzo held. He stuck it in the keyhole and turned it heavily. At first glance, this seemed to prove that it was a sturdy lock. However, now that the barrier had been destroyed, this door might as well have been left open from the viewpoint of anyone's magical power. The heavy sound just now meant that the door had now been opened even for humans.
失礼いたします。
It's funny they put that in bold. As Genji respectfully bowed his head, and Kanon's sense of tension grew tighter, and Shannon trembled, they entered the study. Oh, he was alive! I did all that for nothing. They immediately discovered Kinzo's figure. He was sitting on the reception sofa so that his back faced him. Genji noticed the person sitting across from him and again bowed deeply. Oh, Beatrice showed up? Kanon also noticed that person, but he didn't bow his head. Must be Beatrice. If he's not gonna bow, it must be Beatrice. He stood in front of Shannon and spread out his arms, blocking the way to her. So without even seeing that person's face, Shannon already had a good idea who it was.
お越しでございましたか。ベアトリーチェ様。
Of course.
源氏か。なかなかに早いな。やはり家具は主の呼びかけに素早く答える方が良い。こやつとは大違いだ。
ロノエ様もお越しでしたか。
Oh, he knows about it. Genji directed his greeting toward the thin darkness behind and to the right of Beatrice, where there shouldn't have been anything. Even Kanon and Shannon would never have imagined that someone was there. However, the darkness responded immediately and praised Genji's eyesight.
相変わらずさすがです。
Interesting. What brings them here?
だいぶの久しぶりになりますね。
ですね。
それにしても老けましたね。それだけの弱いを重ねましたか。
充実した日々を過ごしております。ロノエ様におかれましても、ますます充実されておりますようお見受けいたします。
おかげさまです。そしてシャノンも久しぶりですね。君は随分と美しくなった。そして随分と強くなったようですね。良いことです。
ありがとうございます。
姉さん、あいつは一体。
カノン君とは会うのは初めてにな
Oh,
ります。
he's never met him. Okay.
私はベアトリーチェ様の家具頭を任されておりますロノウェと申します。源氏さんの古い馴染みですよ。あなたと同じに私も家具です。使える主は異なりますが。
The tense color didn't disappear from Kanon's face in the slightest. Depending on the master furniture served, they might be kind or brutal or anything else. If this person claimed to be furniture serving the hated Beatrice, they must be despicable as well. Ah, shit. Fuck, 1 second.
わらわもすっかり嫌われたものだ。坊主憎ければ今朝までなんとかとはよく言ったものよ。
That's pretty much it. Beatrice openly sneered at Kanon's hate-filled face. Then, Kanon finally realized. Beatrice and Kinzo were having a chess game across the reception table. But Kinzo hadn't even quivered. He was holding his head with both hands, his eyes closed tight, as he contemplated his next move. Or was he in anguish?
親方様。
わらわが金蔵に伝えたのは2つ。良い知らせと悪い知らせだった。
Okay.
良い知らせは、儀式を終えずしてわらわと再会できる幸運を得たこと。悪い知らせは、金蔵が儀式の一番最初の生贄に選ばれてしまった。
Oh. Oh. Is that the bad luck he was trying to cycle away from?
こればかりはわらわにもどうしようもない。
Yikes.
実に気まぐれにルーレットにて決めたのだから。
嘘をつけ。もて遊んで殺しているくせに。
よしてカノン君。
さて金蔵、そろそろ負けを認める気になったのか。これにてわらわとの長きにわたる勝負は決着だな。
At a glance, it was hard to make out the situation on that chaotic chessboard. However, judging by Kinzo's anguish and Beatrice's malicious confidence, it seemed to be over.
是非もなし。これもまた一興か。
Let's just make it quick. Just quick and painless for somebody like Kinzo, please. That's all I ask.
わらわもだ。そなたとの勝負に決着がつくことは万感の思いあれど、もはや恩衆を超える。楽しかったぞ。退屈しない数十年であった。
Beatrice advanced her queen and made her final move. That decided it.
チェックメイト。これがわらわからそなたへの手向けだ。
It was nice knowing you.
心置きなく眠れ。
Oh my god. Damn. Bro, damn. Okay, there it is. I was like, how long does that go? Kinzo suddenly stood up and laughed, like an opera singer facing a full crowd and spreading his arms. As though he had succeeded in his century-long plan. Oh, shit! Dude, what a background. What a character. Kinda goes hard. That laugh. Spat crimson. Crimson flames poured out from the inside, spitting even out his, oh god, mouth, ears, nose, bears, oh my. And all at once, his body was wrapped in hellfire. Holy shit. But Kinzo kept laughing. The more he laughed, the more the hellfire spewed from his entire body and began to char him. Those flames became a brilliant light, shone on the various magic tools throughout the room, making their distorted shadows dance across the walls. Those shadows looked like the dead in hell, watching over Kinzo, ecstasies and burned. And for one who had made a contract with the witch, it was an extremely fitting end, in accordance with those terms. After laughing and howling in the roaring flames for some time, Kenzo flopped to the ground as though he was a puppet whose strings had been cut. It's just so weird reading this, but it has his name on the box, like it's him speaking. But it's not. It's kind of interesting. Those incredible blazing flames disappeared as though he had been completely burned up. And afterwards, nothing remained but a festering and burnt corpse. Oh, that one could hardly bear to look at. Are we returned? I think so. Oh? Alright, I think so. You know, now I think about it, he also burned, and he kind of went out like that in 2. I'm pretty sure, because he was in the boiler room. He was in the boiler room already burning up down there. But see, he didn't go out in a hellfire blaze like this time. So now I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just kind of curious. I have to go back and read it, but like, I don't know if he burned to death, it was already like that before he got put in the furnace, or he got put in the furnace and then it turned into that. Now I'm curious. It's been too long and I don't remember, but now I'm just like, I don't know. What is this? Eyes emojis, true. Sorry, I'm trying to turn this, my phone keeps going off, bro. Alright, there we go. Alright. Anyways.
お前が言うか。ふさわしい死に方だと思っているくせに。
なぜお前が姿を現している？僕たちに何か用だとでも言うのか？
よしてカノン君。ベアトリーチェ様を挑発してはダメ。
It's a bad move, hombre.
すっかり怯えさせてしまいましたね。
I wouldn't do it.
わらわはつくづくカノンとは仲良くなれぬようだ。
Oh, ruined my love. Yeah, dude, he's cool. I like him, honestly. He's pretty cool so far.
そう嫌いでもないというのにね。
As like, also as like the 27th, I think it was 27th out of the 72 demons. That's pretty up there. Like, he's gotta be like important. Beatrice grinned. Cannon violently averted his gaze, obviously unhappy. His reaction was so different from what he wanted to do that it made the witch and her butler laugh.
カノン、ベアトリーチェ様の御前であるぞ。言葉遣いに気をつけなさい。
ああ、構わぬぞ、源氏。好きに言わせてやれ。わらわは寛大である。
何が寛大だ。
わらわは死にゆく者にはいつだって
He just-
寛大であ
He
る。
just doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it. Kenna was taken aback by that creepy laughter. Beatrice wasn't here just to take Kinzo's life. The first twilight required 6 sacrifices. Ooh. That's a good point. Kinzo alone wasn't nearly enough. That's a good point. Shit, alright, place your bets. Go to Kumasawa, Shannon, Cannon, and maybe Nanjo. And they just casually walked in.
安心せよ、カノン。そなたらがここに訪れたから生贄に選ばれるのではない。
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was just
生贄
thinking
に
it.
選ばれているからこそ、ここに呼ばれているんじゃないか。
Ew.
なんだと。
Their instincts were good enough to spot her meaning instantly. 6 sacrifices were required for the first twilight. You know, after Kinzo, how many more would need to add up to 6? In this mansion, the number 5 instantly made them think of the number of servants here.
それがお望みですか。
うん。感謝せよ、家具どもよ。そなたたちの苦難の日々は今宵ようやく終わりを迎えた。それを告げに訪れたわらわに感謝せよ。
かしこまりました。それをお望みでしたら。
See, now I'm wondering. Okay, she said that oh, just by bringing you here doesn't automatically mean I'm here. I'm like trying to kill you or whatever. But like he already has been selected, so now I'm curious if what I mentioned was actually true or not. Man, it kind of sucks in the long run because I kind of hate seeing this happen to anybody. I'm not gonna lie. Especially with how bad some of these fights actually. Bad, gruesome ones, that is. Genji had agreed to the witch's heartless announcement with his usual demeanor, without raising an eyebrow.
親方様亡き後は、ベアトリーチェ様が我らの主。その求めに応じるのが我らの最後の務めだ。
Yo?
シャノ。カノ。今日までよく使えた。そのロークもこれにて終わりだ。
源氏はさすがですね。同じ家具としてあなたを誇りに思いますよ。
I want to see what this guy's about. He still hasn't revealed his power level yet, and I'm like waiting.
シャノ。
He's way too nonchalant.
異論はないか。
はい。
ジョージ様から指輪を贈られたそうだな。それでもなお未練はないか。
はい。家具の身に過ぎた幸福でした。指輪を頂戴しただけで私の思いはすでに達せられております。
She's wearing the Reina. Shannon couldn't quite take as much of a philosophical view as Genji. There probably were regrets left in her. She probably wanted to spend a little more warm time with the person she cared for, George. But she released herself. She took a single deep breath, and a blank expression rose to her face.
それでよい。
それでよい。
シャノンがそこまでの落ち着きを得るとは少し驚きでした。あなたも家具として達観したようですね。
Kinda?
惚れた男と夜も共にできず、少しは悔し涙をこぼさんのか。退屈な女よ。
ベアトリーチェ様ごときにこの気持ちはわかりません。
Tell her.
私たちの命をご所望でしたらどうぞお受け取りください。私たちは慎んでそのお務めを全うします。
それでいい。よくぞ言ったな。
ベアトリーチェ様の苦手なタイプのようで。
最近こやつめはだいぶ達観しよった。どうも前回いじめすぎたようだ。それを言ったらバトラもか。
Okay, let's not think about or talk about what happened to Badly. That was really fucked.
わらわはまだぬるいのか。それとも追い詰め方が下手なのか。いずれにせよ面白みのないやつよ。しかしお前はまだわらわを楽しませてくれそうだよな。
Compared to the two who had taken a far-sighted approach, there was a painful anguish on Cannon's face. Cannon was still far too young to accept his demise after being told of it by a suddenly appearing witch.
カノン、わらわは退屈を何より嫌う。そしてお前を除く二人が素直に死を受け入れるもので面白くない。だからそなたにはわらわの期待を裏切らないでもらいたいものだ。
I mean, is he gonna fight back?
僕を慰み者にしようというのか。
Kennen realized that he was being provoked. However, no matter how fiercely anger spurred on him, his opponent was a witch. He was furniture. He hadn't a chance of victory from the beginning. But the witch was expecting that he'd struggle in vain either round, and was even looking forward to it. You know, just thinking about that was frustrating enough to get his blood boiling. It was disappointing the witch by refusing to resist like the other two. The only way he could strike back at her?
煉獄の七姉妹が長女ルシファー。
Oh, we going straight to the top. Okay.
いでよ。
Idea.
傲慢のルシファー、ここに。
カノン、家具に魔女と戦えというのも酷な話よ。そなたがいくら怒りに駆られようとも、勝算のない戦いでは希望も持てまい。無論、勝ち目のない戦いでは、わらわも退屈というもの。
Oh, so is it like a little spar, I guess?
ならば、家具は家具。
Hmm. A spar, except for there's an element of death involved, so it's really just kind of a fight to the death. I see.
家具同士で決着をつけてはどうか。
Hmm.
それならば勝てる希望も持てるであろう。
恐れながらベアトリーチェ様、私がそのような出来損ないの家具に劣るようなことがありましょうか？
Now, I know Kanan got that energy blade on him, but like, against the eldest of the seven sisters, that's gonna be a tough call. It's gonna be a tough call. I really don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go.
こんな可愛い子に私が万一にも負けるようなことなど。
我が家具、煉獄の七杭を打ち破ってみせよ。見事打ち破ってみせたなら、そうだな。13人の生贄を逃れることのできる5人を、そなたに自由に決めさせてやろう。
Interesting. Don't 5 people still have to get killed though? So like, would it just be stalling?
そなたの推薦する5人を、わらわは無条件にて黄金鏡に迎え入れる。それならばどうか。
That's a tough call. I'd have to see how that works. Kanan understood that he was being provoked. However, the witch's offer was very tempting. You know, by this point, Kanan couldn't care less about this evil ceremony, which and the rest were trying to carry out. On the contrary, it was much more important that he remained alive so that he could be invited to the Golden Week and have his wish granted by Beatrice there.
そなたは家具は嫌だと泣いたな。そなたの望み、叶えてやろうぞ。枕を濡らしてまで望んだ人間の体を与えてやろうぞ。どうだ？
どうだ？
そうすればジェシカとも結ばれるぞ。 おお、ちょうどよい。黄金鏡へ招ける5人にジェシカとソナタを推薦すればよい。自分だけが幸せになることに抵抗があるならば、さらにシャノンとその思い人であるジョージを加えればよい。義理があるならばさらに源氏も加えればよい。おお、これで5人だ。十分ではないか、カノン。これだけのご褒美があれば。
You know, I think it's worth it. Sure, but just like, I don't know if it's gonna win it though.
そなたはわらわを退屈させはしないよな。
That's what I'm worried about.
どうせ戯れよ。耳を貸す必要はない。
僕は嫌だ。姉さんはそれでいいの？
Paige just couldn't hide her evil smile.
僕は嫌だ。幸せになりたい。家具なんてもう嫌だ。人間になって普通の恋がしたい。
This is such an opposite from episode 2K.
僕も姉さんのように海が青いってことを知りたいんだ。
若いですね。羨ましい。
だから若者は好きなのだ。
Okay, out of context, that's really bad, but understandable in this context.
源氏、シャノンは下がれ。カノン、ルシファーは前へ。
Oh, here it goes.
仰せのままに。気に入らないわ。ベアトリーチェ様は無理でも私にだったら勝てるかもしれないという見下しが最高に気に入らないわ。
Well, bring it on. That was probably humiliating for Lucifer. But at the same time, she was also happy that she was lucky enough to have this adorable prey all to herself. They are greedy.
恋、魔女の家具。いつまでも僕を見くびることができると思うな。
Bring the sword. Let's see it. There it is. Let's go. The energy sword. Oh, did she have like a boss fight tell? Oh shit.
さあさあバトラー、楽しい見せ物の時間であるぞ。
It is. Let's go back to it. Come on.
くそ、またおかしなことになりやがった。
Oh, don't even try to explain this.
魔法バトルなんて認めてたまるかよ。
ほらほら。
I like how it's still happening in the background.
ほらほら。
That's pretty good effects.
ほら。
Hooda hooda.
魔法だよ。家具だよ。そなたがどんなにわらわや魔法の存在を否定しようとも。ほらほら、ほらほらほらほら。
Hooda hooda.
こうして目の前でブオンブオンカキンカキンやられちゃ台無しだよな。ほらほらほらほら、もう思考なんて止めちまえよ。魔法はあるんだって。これはファンタジーなんだって。目を閉じるなよ。 しっかり見ろよ。ほらほらほらほらほら。
畜生畜生畜生畜生。魔性を認めない。魔法を認めない。
How do you explain it, Battler? How do you explain it then?
でもこんなにあからさまにやられちまったらなんだっていやいいんだ。
What are you gonna do, man?
クソクソクソクソ。
ほら目を背けるなよ。しっかり見ろよ。魔法はあるんだよ。ファンタジーなんだよ。推理ごっことかやめちまえよ。知ってんだよ。ものを考えんの本当は苦手なんだろう。やめちまえやめちまえ。
Oh, it's so easy to just believe if you don't think.
ほらほら、どうせファンタジー、どうせファンタジー。
Industry fantasy.
うるせえうるせえうるせえ。俺に話しかけるんじゃねえ。
Oh, that was cool.
こいつ
You get a little, had a little movement.
私になら勝てるなんて思い上がりをしたことを今すぐ床に這いつくばって謝ってごらんなさい。
Not that silly.
そうしたら特別に許してあげてもいいわよ。生きながら生皮を剥がして。
Oh God. I need Beatrice. Son. Son. What are we on about? What the fuck? Hey, that's holy shit. Brady, I don't even know how to take that apart, man. I'm gonna be real with you. I just I don't even know what to do with that fucking sentence. Jesus Christ. I think you are spitting, man. I think you're just spitting too much for my brain to comprehend. I just wasn't I wasn't ready for that. For that level of facts. That's like a level 5 facts right there. I think I'm like a level 3 or 4. I was just so much for me to handle. Holy shit.
絶命するまで全身を鞭打ってのたうち回らすのを特別に許してあげてもいいわよ。
To a deflated beach ball is what gets me, dude.
可愛い子なんだから謝っちゃいなさいよ。
There was some other dude who was in here last week who's down bad for Lucifer. I wonder where he's at. This is like prime Lucifer swing time.
そうしたらあなただけは最高に素敵な気分の中で優しく優しく行かせてあげる。
黙れ魔女の家具。お前と問答するつもりはない。
私なんか眼中にないというのね。気に入らないわ。イフを感じないその目。
Come on, put the dukes up. Let's go.
本当に気に入らないわ。
カノン君。
あやつ、サタンの時よりも筋がいいではないか。
Oh, he already went up against Satan? Oh, see, he kind of knows already.
だから人間は恐ろしいのです。 たまに魔女にまでなり、悪魔を羊扱いにしたりいたしますよ。
わらわはどちらを応援すればよいというのか。
こいつ
You know, they just bust out the Halo energy swords? Yeah, man. That's exactly what I called it when I saw this for the first time. Like when Canon first revealed the weapon, fuck, I can't remember which bot it is, dude. I hope it's clicked. But I literally called it energy swords. That's exactly what they are.
私と互角に渡り合うというの？
僕を見くびるな。お前にそのおごりがある限り、僕には決して勝てない。
Big talk. I hope you can still follow it up.
私がこの煉獄の七姉妹が長女ルシファーを刺して決して勝てないと？
Oh shit.
この思い上がりが
There they go. Oh? Oh? Canon was desperately trying to stay alive, and he had a strong desire to become human. But Lucifer didn't feel anything stronger than a slight desire to play. So, that led to an inevitable result. It was a result that could be reached by the power of humans. The power of the heart.
これまでだ。お前は僕に決して勝てない。
No shot! She didn't have the hunger. They talk about this in Rocky. It's true. That's exactly what he's saying here. That is exactly what he's saying here. She didn't have the hunger for it. She took him lightly. She looked down on him, and guess what happens? She got rocked for it. You gotta be hungry. You gotta want it. The glowing red curve extended straight out from Canon's arm, pointing at Lucifer's throat just beneath the tip of her chin.
何よこれ？この私がこんなの何かの間違いよ。
The eldest of the sisters, or what is it, of Purgatory, whatever they're called, by the way. As she ground her teeth in irritation, she tried to deny the truth right before her eyes. But no matter how much she believed in her own superiority, it didn't change the facts right in front of her. Kobe.
ほう、
Heaven on high.
やるなカノン。
Oh.
見事だ。わらわを退屈させなかった。それに比べ、わらわの家具のなんと情けないことか。
ルシファー、お嬢様を退屈させていますよ。
Uh-oh. You're boring.
やはりあなたには荷が勝ちすぎた相
But
手
he's rubbing it in. Oh, that's fucking.
失望するぞ、七食いの長女。
Yikes. It would have seemed like more rebuke to an outsider. However, furniture serving the witch knew what kind of severe treatment was promised by the book, and understood what had been left unsaid. Is this bye-bye?
この出来損ない家具が！
She howled. Abandoning her last bit of pride, she made her body explode. Oh shit! Exposing her true form, which is... Oh. That form was a demon snake, which bounced off the walls surrounding the room.
よくも私にここまで恥をかかせたな。
殺せ殺す殺す殺せこのぬるまが私の姿をもはや追うこともできないくせにもう遊ばないよ本気で怒ったわよお前の心臓を一撃で貫いてやるよ
Oh, it's not
ぐっ
over.
すりざっくり貫いて真っ赤な血の噴水を天井にまで届かせてやるよ死ね
カノン君
She's pissed. Oh, did that zoom in thing? Ooh. Ooh. After flying about wildly for some time, with his speed approaching the limits of what a human eye could follow, Lucifer flew at Kanon's heart. She could tell that it was Kanon's blood by the sweet taste of it. But she quickly noticed one thing. She hadn't pierced his heart. No?
ほう
What? Then, ooh, wait, it was his blood.
これだから人間は恐ろしい。
Did he catch it?
紅茶はいかがですかな。
今はよい紅茶もいらぬほどに面白い
カノン君
Where did she land?
怒ったなだからお前は僕に勝てないんだ
The floor was stained with dripping blood. It really was Kanon's blood. It wasn't flowing out of his chest. Kanon sacrificed his own left hand to protect his heart. Oh, it was his hand. Sweet. Lucifer was arrogant, even though she'd been given enough time to realize that this was an opponent capable of cornering her. In her pride, she had believed him to be worthless. She had gotten careless. So, just as she had announced, she had aimed for his chest, trying to pierce his heart. Because she was arrogant, she hadn't even thought of aiming for somewhere other than the place she had announced. Yeah, I would have, like, done a feint and just went for the head or something. That's what she should have done. Now, maybe she had thought about it a little. However, her pride would not allow her to aim for a different spot. After all, she was Lucifer Pride. Kanon, withstanding the pain, grasped the demon stick, staking deep into his left hand strongly. Ooh. It's like... Sorry, I needed water. Oh god. Kanon, withstanding... What the fuck? Oh my god. Hold on. I don't know why it feels like something just crawled in my throat just fucking randomly there. What the hell? That was weird. Anyways. Kanon, withstanding the pain, grasped the demon stake sticking deep into his left hand strongly with his right hand and pulled it out. When she heard the sound of breaking bones and even more blood dripping down, Shannon looked away reflexively. There was an air hole back of the pierced hand so big you could clearly see through to the other side. Kanon's face was filled with pain. But right now, he had won, without a doubt. The demon stake he was gripping with his right hand turned back into Lucifer again. So that Kanon was now gripping exactly where her neck was. Oh! Would you look at that? She crying?
僕の勝ちだ。ベアトリーチェ。
I gotta hand it to him. I was a little worried. I was a little skeptical. Not gonna lie. Kenny didn't hold back at all with the hand gripping Lucifer's throat. She had challenged him again after the fight had already been decided. Ken had no obligation to be considerate. But even so, Ken released the witch's furniture. Was it his naive humanism? His pity for another furniture? Or final bit of respect to the witch? In any case, when she was released, Lucifer fell face down on the ground, retching and moaning all over in her pain in her throat.
お見事ですよ、ガノン。あなたの奮闘により、金蔵の研究の正しさが一つ実証されました。
Roanoke was clapping his hands. Dude's genuinely surprised. To Cannon, who had won at a great cost and had a wound on his left hand that wouldn't close, Roanoke's applause only felt like mockery.
人の心はあらゆる可能性を秘める。いやはやこれだから人間は恐ろしい。あっぱれであるぞ、カノン。そなたは勝利した。見事だ。
大丈夫？カノン君。
Shannon ran up to him and wrapped a handkerchief around his left hand, which was still spraying blood.
見事であるぞ、カノン。実に見事である。わらわも少しは番狂わせを期待した。
I mean, that's kind of understandable. We love upsets.
それを裏切らぬとは、そなたは誠に素晴らしき家具であるぞ。見直した。正直見直したぞ。
約束を忘れてはいないだろうな。
That's right.
ベアトリーチェ。
He won fair and square.
もちろん忘れてはおらぬぞ。魔女も悪魔も非道ではある。だがしかし、契約に限っては人間など及ばぬほどに高潔だ。わらわは保護にはせぬ。そなたが勝利したなら、13人の生贄を逃れることができる5人を自由に決める権利を保証した。
ベアトリーチェ様、私はまだ敗れたわけでは。
I mean, come on. Just take the L like a champ, right? Whoa, what is this? When Beatrice waved her pipe, heaven and earth turned over just for Lucifer. What? So as a horribly natural result, she fell onto the ceiling? What the fuck? Okay. The ceiling doesn't seem that high to people standing on the floor. However, people who fall on it upside down and head first usually don't agree.
お嬢様、さすがにやりすぎでは。
それもそうであるな。許してやるか。
Beatrice waved her pipe again. When she did, the magic that had been affecting Lucifer was released. So, as a horribly natural result, this time she fell properly back onto the floor. I love this animation. It's just spinning the spray.
ベアトリーチェ様、お許しを。
That's what you get for losing.
何を怯えておるか。わらはもはや許したぞ。さてカノン、続けようではないか。
何をだ。まさか彼女にとどめを刺せとでも言うつもりなのか。
ああ、違う違う。まだ終わっちゃいないだろうが。
何をだ。
Yeah, I'm also confused. He won, didn't he?
はぐらかすな。
わらわは確かにそなたと約束したぞ。
Yes.
わらわの家具、煉獄の七杭を打ち破ったなら、とだ。
Which he just did. Oh, oh. Oh, no.
さあさあおいでなさい、煉獄の七杭。
Wait. Wait. But he won! Wait, no, hold on.
不甲斐なき長女の6人の妹たち。
What the fuck? Wait! Wait, is that really how she said it the first time? It's like word for word, the 7 stakes of purgatory? Oh no, Sean. I like how many of them are just blonde. They're just Antoine Bay. I'm gonna guess far left or second from the left is Chloe Bay. The air split with shrill laughter, and as a golden splash scattered about, the remaining six sisters of Purgatory showed themselves. All the 7 sisters of Purgatory were here, after Kanon was able to defeat one only by sacrificing his left arm. By now, Kanon regretted his thoughtlessness in accepting the witch's challenge. I deadass thought she only meant only one. He had been foolish to assume that a game against the witch would be an uneven footing. Oh god.
お姉様、どうして床に這いつくばってるの？お前たち。
You people? What do you mean, you people?
だからお姉様はダメなのよ。長女を偉そうに名乗るくせに上っ面だけなのよ。まったくルシファーお姉様一人の集体が私たちへの評価を下げるのよ。恥を知りなさいな、この未熟者が。
Oh, called her a novice.
カロンくん、すごいすごい。でもいい気にならないことよ。ルシファーお姉様なんて威張ってるだけで姉妹の子じゃ大したことないんだから。
だからルシファー姉は何もしなくていいといつも言っている。お姉様は威張ってだけいればいい。荒事はすべて優秀な私たちで片付けるのだから。
お姉様、どうする？私たちはお姉様のプライドを尊重して、そのボロボロの体で再び挑むのを期待して手出しをしないつもりなんだけれど。
Oh. Oh.
でもカノン君は強いわよね。今のお姉様じゃもうどうあがいても勝ち目はないわよね。お前たち。
やれやれ、いつも賑やかな姉妹たちであるな。 今は仲違いをしている場合か。
See, that's what Battle likes about them.
そなたらは7人揃ってこその煉獄の7姉妹であろうが。仲良くしてわらわの仕事を遂行せよ。迅速に
ねえルシファーお姉様、私たち妹の力が借りたいなら言ってよ。お姉様の口から助けを求める言葉が聞きたいの。私をこれ以上苦労する気か。
I really think they do.
愚かでひ弱で見苦しくて
Ugly!
情けない。
Alright, I don't think we have to throw that in.
この長女のルシファーをどうか妹の皆様お助けくださいってねえ聞かせてよ。それを聞かせてくれたら助けてあげる。それでいいわよねみんな。お前たちおのれ
You bitch. Just straight up, you bitch. The 7 sisters of Purgatory unanimously closed in on their worthless sister, abusing her. Even Camu had been fighting for his life until a second ago couldn't bear to look at her.
私がそのようなことを口にできるものか。
早くせよ。どうせお前一人では拉致が開かぬわ。早く7姉妹にてカノンを撃て。
そら、どうしましたか、ルシフは。お嬢様の命令ですよ。
Oh, you gonna make her do it?
ひどい。
After grinding her teeth over and over after hearing her sister's curses, Lucifer trembled all over and answered her sister's request.
愚かでひ弱で見苦しくて
Come on, just finish it.
情けない情けないこの長女ルシファーをどうか
The girl known as Pride is finally unable to endure the words she was saying and broke down crying. However, the 6 younger sisters kept giggling cold-heartedly. Good God, man. I thought sisters stuck together.
ちょっと泣いてごまかさないでまだいいっつってない
Oh my god.
もう十分だろう。さあ姉妹たち、我らの力を見せてやろう。
私は全部聞かなきゃ満足しないわよ
I don't know, man. Look, she's already broken. Y'all broke her.
ほらほらお姉様続けてよ
もう十分よ。
Oh, what is this OST?
さあ、この屈辱は姉妹全員の屈辱。生かして返しはしないわよ。
さーて哀れな家具をどのように遊んでやろうかしら素敵な提案はあるはいベルゼは何 仲良く7人でカノン君を分けっこしたらいいと思います。
What is this theme called? I was kind of looking for this last time. Dude, that's the other thing. Sometimes I want like Umineko music, but I don't know how to like search for it or like get it without spoiling myself. You know?
良い提案だな。それでなら姉妹でみんな仲良しだ。
なら私頭部ね。手足はあんたらにあげるわ。やだやだ、ダメ。私が頭なの。
Oh, for the love of God. Just like pull straws or something for it. God damn.
そんな約束意味があるわけないでしょ。早い者勝ちに決まってるわ。
どんな殺され方がいいかカノン君の提案があったら教えてね。7姉妹でとびっきりの殺し方をしてあげる。
I know the Switch version, it just shows up in the corner whenever it starts. Oh, that'd be nice. Damn, dude. I guess they didn't do that for the PS3.
ここまで恥をかかせたんだもの。八つ咲きでも足りない。百咲きにしてくれる。行くよお前たち。はい、お姉様。
Hi. Okay, I just wanted to save this real quick. I like seeing them all lined up. Bum, 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 bum. Well, Cannon, it was nice knowing you. I don't know how the fuck you're gonna get out of this one, man. Some of them burst at once. They had no intention of playing or boasting. This time, they would genuinely follow their master's orders. Take Cannon down. Swiftly. The seven sisters jumped around the room faster than the eye could see, examining how they could best kill Cannon. They tortured with their cruel giggles, sometimes making a close pass at him. They kept scraping his arms, shoulders, cheeks, gradually carving red letters into his body. At that moment, Shannon dashed up behind him, holding on to him so that she blocked the way to his body at least a little. Why not just activate your sphere barrier that you had? Oh! Okay, she actually... Well, shit, right as I said that. Alright. At the same time, a red cylinder wrapped around the tube, like a beam of light sent from heaven. That cylinder repelled the evil ones who tormented Cannon.
何？ずるい。あんたは関係ないでしょ。きっとこれはあれよ。私たちと一緒に遊びたいのよ。なら私がもらうわ。いっただき。
Oh, Shannon.
ベアトリーチェ様、シャノンを私たちの獲物にしても？ああ、構わんぞ、好きにしろ。お前たちの悪時期にはカノン一人では足らなかろうしな。
ありがたき幸せ。 さあシャシャリ出てきたことを後悔させてやろう。
どっちがどっちかわからないくらいの肉片にして、混ぜて混ぜてミンチにしてハンバーグにしてあげる。
バカね。それよりあの結界を破る方が先でしょうが。食い意地より先に仕事しなさい。
Tell him, Satan.
はい、お姉さん。
As a horribly natural first action, Seven Sisters began to destroy the barrier Shannon had created. Shannon's barrier certainly was strong. It was powerful enough to impress even Beatrice. With its strength, frail furniture would turn to dust just by touching it. And it was firm, like a tree with deep roots. No matter how big a tree gets, it will eventually surrender to a saw or a hatchet. Yosh. Brum 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 brum. I like the circles faded in the back. Show like they're hitting from like all directions. A sound like beetles jumping about grew even fiercer, filled the room. The red berry began to be cut up and it eroded away as though with a hatchet, a saw, no chainsaw. Ronov? Uh-oh.
君の結界ではその子たちを防ぎきれないことは知っていたでしょうに。なぜ？
見過ごせないからです。
As Shannon covered Cannon, who was already at his limits, sprawled on the floor, she spoke back resolutely.
シャシャリでなければ眠るような死を与えてやったのに。なぜわざわざ七姉妹の前に身をさらすのか。死は同じではないぞ。苛烈な死は死してなお苛むぞ。
どうぞお好きなように。あなたがしたいことを好きにするように、私もしたいことを好きにしたまで。
どうにもそなたはこのところ面白みに欠けるな。恋というやつは達するかどうかのあたりが一番面白い。達してしまった後の女はさながら産卵を終えた鮭のごとしか。
Interesting comparison?
そなたにはもう飽きた。
ありがとう。
Thanks.
魔女から聞ける言葉で最も嬉しい言葉です。
Interesting.
ならせめて最後にわらを思いっきり喜ばせる死に方をしてみせろよ。七姉妹を聞こえたな。
Oh?
シャノンの殺し方、お前たちの残虐の限りを見せてみよ。
In a way that shows me the limits of brutality? Oh. Oh. Oh.
申し訳ございません。やはり私には源氏様の高みには至れませんでした。
姉さんはバカだ。僕なんか放っておけば姉さんまでひどい目に遭うことは。
ううん、いいの。ジョージ様に指輪をもらって女として生きられた。あなたをかばって姉として生きられた。私の生はすべてこれで未練なく全うした。
イライラするぜ。その達観が本当にイラつくぜ。だから家具なんだよ。お前からは人間の匂いがしねえんだよ。わらわを見ろよ。わらわこそ人間だろうが。
I am a human.
家具のくせにわらわよりも完成されたかのような、達観したかのようなことを言うんじゃねえ。
醜い。その未練があなたの正体なの。
Oh. Oh.
未練じゃねえ。それが生きるってもんだ。指輪もらったから死んでもいいとか。理解できねえ。さっぱりがっかり愕然呆然。全然ダメだぜ。
I mean, she'll never understand. It's just as simple as that.
様、少し品がないかと。
Yep, that's right. I'm glad he stepped in and told her.
うるさいわ家具が。シャーノン、楽に死なせてもらえると思うなよ。舌を噛むなら今のうちだ。
哀れね。もしも私の目にあなたのその姿が映ってそれが見えるなら、己が醜さにおののくといい。
She did not just call the endless witch Beatrice ugly. No way, no way. No shot.
安心しろよ。てめえはそれよりさらにめちゃくちゃぐちゃぐちゃに生きながら醜く潰してやるからよ。
At that time, Genji softly entered the red barrier. Oh? Perhaps that barrier didn't block those without ill intent. Then, Genji gently held her from behind and covered her eyes with his right hand.
源氏様、
What's this?
十分だ。先に休みなさい。
はい、ありがとうございます、源氏様。
After that, Genji softly pressed his left hand near her collarbone. As he did, emanating from that area, a crimson stain gently spread out. Huh? Wait, what? Wait. What did he? When Genji removed his hand, bright red, fresh blood oozed out of it. It only happened for the first instant. It was like shaped like a crimson rose. Did he just... And when he removed his right hand, covering her face, there was a peaceful expression, as though she was sleeping. Then she... Oh. Oh. Then she fell softly, silent, and slept. Her soul had already been sent to a world where the malicious witch in her furniture could not reach her, no matter how evilly, interesting word, evilly they tortured her. This scene left Beatrice and the seven sisters stunned. Only Ronov wore a mysterious smile. Then, Genji leaned over to Kanon, who was crouching on the floor.
よく頑張った。お前ももう休むといい。
Oh, he's just like CQC and put like them to sleep. Oh.
はい。ありがとうございます。ケンジ様。
Just as he did with Shannon, he softly covered Kanon's eyes with his hand, then gently pressed the area around Kanon's collarbone with his other hand. And when his hand was removed from the lightness of the feather, there was a crimson rose there. Oh. Yep. Okay. You know what? Honestly, this is way better than how the Seven Sisters would have done it, so... I applaud it. But that rose shape quickly turned into a stain of bright red blood pouring out.
何よそれ。つまらぬやつ。生命の風船は針にてつき、威勢よく割るから面白いのだろうが。
見事です、源氏。それでこそ家具です。
ありがとうございます。それではベアトリーチェ様、ロノウェ様、これをもって私の最後のお務めとし、おいとまをさせていただきます。
Genji!
わらわの楽しみを勝手に奪いおって。
Hey, get fucked.
この二人をギッタギタのぐっちゃぐちゃにしたかった分、そなたがそれを変わるのであろうな。
Beatrice faced him with an unsatisfied expression. Morono spoke quietly to Genji with a soothing smile.
ご苦労でした。あなたは私の最高のしもべです。これまでの労をねぎらうに値する安らかな眠りをあなたへの最後の褒美として取らせましょう。
Oh?
おい、勝手な真似を。
Morono snapped his fingers. Genji slumped to the floor like a puppet with its strings cut. Suddenly, and yet gently, he crumpled, falling into a sleep that no witch could call him back from. It was as filled with kindness as the sleep he had given Shannon and Kanon. And just like that,
なんだよ、ロノウェ。拍子抜けでつまらぬぞ。
お嬢様は偉大なる大魔女ではございませんか。この程度気に留めるほどにもございませんよ。シャノンごときの挑発で頭に血を上らせるなどらしくもない。
What was it that had Beatrice so irritated? Was she still unable to remove the thorn of Shannon's words? Roranov laughed lightly, as though lamenting the complexity of humanity in a woman's heart, and ordered the seven sisters to go. After all, there were still 2 sacrifices left for the first twilight. 7 sisters disappeared in ecstasy. Oh! Shit. Bum, 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 bum. Goto was doing the nighttime rounds. Kojima had always been empty, except for the Ushiromiya family household. Yeah, that's a good question, actually. What has everyone else been doing this entire time? And also, how long did that whole study room take? I wonder in like real time. So checking that the doors and windows were all closed had no real purpose. However, ever since the time Natsui had condemned such an attitude as being careless, the nighttime rounds had become part of the servant's daily routine. In the first place, Natsui had ordered this because of the occasional witch disturbances. Everyone who came and left this island knew about the legend of Beatrice, the Witch of the Forest. It had become established as this island's characteristic ghost story. Because of that, it was only natural to claim them. When they thought they were alone in the mansion, they would hear a strange sound or see the shadow of a person. However, when that created a little too much of a disturbance and reached Natsumi's ears, she made a fuss, thinking that some suspicious person might have been entering and leaving. Apparently, she had aroused all the servants and had them checked throughout the mansion. Because of all that panic over the witch had happened before Goto's arrival, he had only heard about it from the more senior servants. Ghost stories like that could be found in any work. Even at the hotels and restaurants Goto had worked at. There had been plenty of them. So when he heard about that story on this island, he gave it a forced smile, thinking, so they have that kind of thing here after all. That forced smile aside, he had figured that, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and had taken it seriously. Goto went along with it on the outside, but in his heart, he'd assumed it to be a childish trick. At first, that is.
これは確かに不気味ですね。なるほど。過去の使用人たちがいろいろと騒ぎたくなる気持ちもわかるものです。
He can understand how someone doing the rounds on an eerie night like this might believe they'd seen a ghost if they saw a lace curtain waving in the breeze from a window that hadn't been closed.
肖像画の魔女をバカにするとたたりがあるか。
Yeah, but I don't know if that's actually true or not, Goto. So I think you should do it. I think you should try that out right now and just like let me know how that goes. You should just do that.
大怪我をして辞めた使用人もいるらしいし。怪我は勘弁だな。俺もこの年だ。二度とこんな厚遇の職場には恵まれねえだろうよ。
Do it, goddammit.
ああ、肖像画の魔女様。真面目に働きますんで、一つ穏便に頼みます。
Goto prayed to the portrait, his hands together as though he was at a Shinto shrine. What was that? At that time, he thought he heard a sound. Kitchen? Is that the sound of something metal falling on the floor? Maybe a mouse or a cockroach had come out and knocked over some of the dishes. No. How could that be? It was usually cleaned thoroughly. I think we need to check out what that noise really had been. Go to enter the kitchen. He turned on the light. The kitchen light. When he did, he heard a strange sound. Clank, 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 clank. To a cook like Goda, that sound felt like the lid on a pressure cooker or something shaking. Surely there wouldn't be a pot on the burner when no one was in the kitchen. Even if someone was using the gas, walking away from it would be quite dangerous. I know that personally. Just in case, Goda decided to inspect the area around the gas range. When he did, in the corner with the gas range, the pressure cooker really had been set out, just as he had thought. The flame wasn't on. And yet, the lid was clanking. Was something fermenting, leaking gas? What could that be? Then, was there a mouse or something inside? Could there be? Ridiculous. When people were watching, it would act as though he had a bold personality fitting for his build. But he actually had an unexpectedly timid side to him. You know, he was frightened that there might be something inside. He couldn't bring himself to check it carelessly. In his cowardice, he grabbed a nearby wooden pestle. And with a clunk, he tapped it a little forcefully against the side of the pressure cooker. When he did, the clanking sound suddenly stopped. He shouldn't have been relieved that it had stopped. But the fact that it had stopped when he hit it was even more eerie. It made him even more suspicious about what was inside. Well, open it.
この世に怪奇現象なんて存在しませんとも。そんな魔女も魔法もそんなもの存在するわけがない。すべての現象は科学的に説明できるんです。お化けも魔女もいてたまるもんですか。
He repeated that many times, trying to build up his own confidence. The gap between what he was saying and what he was doing was quite common.
何が魔女だ。何が魔法だ。たたりだ。そら、正体を見せてみろ。そら。
Did he throw it? Oh, he removed the lid of the pressure cooker. And lying exposed there was the sparkling, clean silver bottom of the pot. Oh, there's nothing. There was absolutely nothing frightening like he imagined.
そりゃ当然です。中に何もいるわけがない。
By now, Goda had realized that he had been a coward. So, while he still had some doubts as to what had caused the lid to make that sound, he figured it wasn't a big problem, decided not to worry about it too much. Then he took the lid he grabbed and softly set it back down where it had been. It's fine, it won't make a sound. Of course it won't. As if witches or magic could exist. Clank. Clank, 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 clank. Clank. Clank, 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 clank. Clank, 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 clank. Clank, 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 clank. Is it Goda? All of the pots and dishes in the kitchen started clanking at once. It grew even stronger, so that finally the lid to one of the pots fell off. And from inside that pot, a slender white arm reached out. Oh, what the fuck? Lids fell off the other pots, one after another, and another, and another. When the number of arms grew to 7, a loud, shrill laughter split the air. Oh, it's still sacrifice time. That's right. Ah. You know, Goda, against everyone else, I would have said this sucks. And I'd feel bad. But, I hope you fucking suffered. Come on, let's search. There's only one more. That old hat. No, not Kuma-sama. Where is she? She's in the mansion. I'm about to guess. Ooh, hee hee. First one wins. First one wins. Right. Oh, good. Come on. Search, search. Find her, find her. Don't be noticed by the relatives in the dining room, right? And don't get noticed by the kids in the guest house, right? Search in silence. Heal in silence. After all, it's still just the first twilight. She isn't in the guest house. But she wasn't in the mansion either, right? Hey, hey, I found her, I found her. She's in the rose garden. How's she standing around there without an umbrella? She's already given up. All mine, mine! Blockheads can just sit there and watch. I told you. No, this one's mine. Come on, if we take any longer, we'll be scolded by Beach or something. Let's take care of it all at once. There. Found her. Surrounded her. Come on. Let's get along and do it all at once, okay? Die. Shine. Now this is a new color. Hold on. Hold the fuck up. No way. Unless? Dude, I sat up straight in my seat. Wait, what? Has she had her own this whole time? What? Damn. You know, I did say earlier I was expecting to see Genji's powers, but I didn't think about Kumasawa-san. Shit. You got me?
やんちゃなお嬢さんたちだこと。あの子のお友達かしら。
Hey, yo!
何こいつババアのくせに何かの間違いよもう一度
Oh?
こいつどうして私たちを防げるの？
Is this new theme? Oh?
どいてもう一
Go ahead, Mammy.
度よ何度やっても無駄だこの誤人できる
私はあの子を待っているのです。
The child?
どうか呼んできてはくれませんか？
そのようなデッチボークを私たちがすると思う？
その必要はない。
ベアトリーチェ様
私が権限するほどでございます。
Rono has entered the chat.
必ずやお目覚めと思いました。
ローノウェイ、久しぶりですね。
They've met before too? Damn.
ええ、本当に久しぶりです。
こいつロノウェ様を呼びつけに。
そしてあなたもお久しぶりですね、ベアトリーチェ。
Beatrice.
こいつベアトリーチェ様までも呼びつけに
よい
Yoi.
そのお方をどなたと心得るか。ベアトリーチェとはそもそもそのお方の名。
The name Beatrice itself is.
わらわはそれを受け継いだに過ぎぬ。
What? Wait, what? Fuck, I never did think about the origin of the name. I just assumed that's what they call her. Wait, is it lore? What the? From Kumasawa of all people. Wait, what?
そのお方こそは
You're what now? Son. Wait, what are you... On God? What are you talking about? Her teacher? What the fuck do you mean?
先代ベアトリーチェ兄弟。
The previous Lady Beach? Oh, this is just like a whole can of worms. Are you fucking kidding me?
先代ベアトリーチェ卿
Gold butterflies appeared in ones and twos from the Garden of Roses and began to gather around Kumasawa. Then, after she was wrapped in a golden sparkle, she burst and disappeared, and Kumasawa's form was no longer there. What? Oh, shit! Oh, shit, what? Who is this? I don't understand. What? Do you know how many, like, questions this opens up now? Oh my god. This is the woman we saw at the very beginning of this episode. At the very beginning in the flashback. What the fuck? Instead, there was another golden witch, the one who once taught the path of an endless witch to Beatrice. Holy shit, dude. And the only person Beatrice ever called teacher. Her hair was long, beautiful, and vividly youthful. And her figure in that elegant dress couldn't possibly have been mistaken for an old lady. Not at all. No, this looked like a completely different person from Kumasama.
これはお師匠様。再びお会いできる日が訪れるとは夢にも思いませんでした。
This doesn't fucking make any sense!
ええ、私もですよ。
Has she been the teacher in every single episode like this entire time? Or has she... No, because... She... Oh, man... Man... This doesn't make any fucking sense.
夜がまた眠りを妨げられるとは夢にも思いませんでした。まったく厄介なところでお目覚めになられる。いつもの通りお休みであられたなら、第一の晩を何も手こずることなく終えられるのに。いや、むしろ歓迎すべきですかな。少々退屈しておりましたところで。相変わらず悪趣味な遊びで罪もない人々をもてあそんでいるようですね。無限の魔女の力は決して人に迷惑をかけることに使ってはならないと何度も教えたはずですよ。そう言うなよ、お師匠様。退屈は私たちの天敵じゃありませんか。それから逃れるためのちょっとしたスパイスに過ぎませんよ。侵食が進めば進むほどにわらわの力は強くなり、わらわの眷属は呼び出しやすくなる。しかしそれは同時にお師匠様の封印を解くことにもつながったとはな。それを予見していたからこそ、私はこうしてあなたのすぐ近くで眠りについたのですよ。願わくば二度と起こされぬことを夢見ながら、こうしてあなたと再会してしまったのは私にとってはとても悲しいことです。
Why?
相変わらずお師匠様は食えないな。炉の上、家具の子たちを下げなさい。家具は主に仕えるだけです。すべての罪は主が背負います。
Oh.
かしこまりました、マダム・ベアトリーチェ。
その名はもうその子に譲りました。さあ下がりなさい。家具の娘たち、私は一度聞かぬとしても二度言います。しかし三度目は口にしませんよ。
Damn.
下がりなさい、煉獄の七姉妹。
Just told them to step off like that. Holy shit.
巻き添いになれば塵と化しますよ。
下がれ、みんな。
Run over the Seven Sisters of Purgatory retreated. Kumasawa lives. Okay. After that, remained was Beatrice, whose daring expression didn't falter. And the teacher of Beatrice, who had given up that name, wore a composed smile.
さて、お師匠様、久しぶりの再会にはどんなお茶のご用意が良いかな。そうですね。ほうき星の訪れよりも久しい再会です。もてなしてもらいましょうか。 粗相があるようならば、我が名と無限の魔女の称号返してもらいますよ。
Oh, you can just do that? Oh shit.
無限の魔女にも免許更新制度があったとはな。
I didn't know it could.
仰せのままに、お師匠様。あなたの弟子がどれほど立派になったか、そしてとっくの昔にどれほどあなたを凌駕したか、とくとご覧に入れましょう。
The air between the two Beatrices seemed to explode with sparks. Oh, that's cool. Never seen that sprite before. Yo. Just by glaring at each other, they purged all the spirits from that space. As they watched, the seven sisters shivered. After all, if they had retreated just like 3 steps less than they had, they would have already been turned into dust by now.
さあ、いらっしゃい。ベアトリーチェ。あなたにその名を譲ったことが私の生涯でただ一度の後悔です。その過ちを今自らの手で修正しましょう。
Oh, oh shit. Right now?
そりゃあ違うぜ、お師匠様。わらわのただ一度の過ちは
Is not killing you sooner.
この程度の力を学ぶのにあんたに弟子入りしちまったことだぜ。
Oh.
なんだ魔王だ。何が無限の魔女だ。こんなの気づくだけの力じゃねえかよ。それをもったいぶって偉そうによ。お前の出番はとっくに終わってんだよ、お師匠様よ。
Oh shit! Yo! Oh my god! Don't even try it, dude. Don't even try. Don't even try. This is another good theme that I would want. Yeah, dude. Battler, just don't even think, man. Don't even think, bro. Oh, she's in here now.
私の弟子が迷惑をかけています。謝ります。
あんた何者なんだ。熊沢のばあちゃんがどうしてこんな姉ちゃんに化けるんだ。つうかあんた誰だよ。わけがわからねえ。これは何の特撮なんだ。俺は頭がどうにかなっちまいそうだ。
私はあの子の魔女の師匠です。かつての名はベアトリーチェ。あの子が私を継ぐときにその名を送ったため今は名を持ちます。
あんたがすでに言い切っちまってるが、俺はあんたの弟子のせいで大いに迷惑しているぜ。頼むから責任取って何とかしてくれ。
Don't you think she's already doing that?
じゃなくて俺はこんなの信じねえぞ。魔女も魔法もあるもんか。こんなめちゃくちゃバトル俺は認めねえぞ。くそったな。俺は何を信じりゃいいんだ。
あなたらしいとても短気なもてなしですね。さすがお師匠様。この程度じゃバカバカしくてまぶたを開く気にもならないらしい。
Yeah, I've been wondering that too.
島ごとぶっ壊す気でなきゃ無理らしいぜ。さあさあおいでなさい。双剣の戦闘。
I'm sorry, wait, what? Shoulder War Towers? Is this it? Bitch, what? What? Is this like the fucking command tower from Belial? Like, what? In response to Beatrice's summons, a terrific earth tremor split the Rose Garden. And on either side of her shoulders, two massive war towers sprouted and stabbed into the heavens. They stretched up to 100 meters tall, and each had over 360 ports. They were war towers of the gods' army corps, which had prevented even groups of ancient heroes from invading their sacred grounds. As Beatrice elegantly floated into the gap between the massive two-headed towers, she looked down on her teacher, sneering with a sense of absolute superiority. With the two massive towers lined up behind her shoulders, the witch looked very small, like a butterfly dancing between huge trees. So we're just summoning shit now. What the fuck are these things? Oh my god. Over 720 ports opened on the towers, and godly soldiers readied their multi-shot ballistas. What? Wait, so they actually are just like whole fucking war towers. Ain't this a bit much? There's still human beings living in the mansion, like, right next door, by the way. And she just summoned, like, these two giant-ass fucking war towers. God forbid anyone step outside right now. What the fuck? Whoa! Shit. Oh my god. What the fuck is that? What is happening right now? The ballista shots that numbered over 1,000 were all fired at once, drawing a beautiful geometric curtain of death. The boar's sound as the bowstrings were played was probably even deeper than that of a reaper swinging its sickle. The fuck is happening here? This is like shit that I never would have ever expected to happen. Ever since I started this, dude. Like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Sprites and art that I just never knew would have even existed in this game. Holy shit. The sky was stained in incandescent red, and from between the clouds, a blazing massive tower fell upside down? That massive falling tower and its rubble sucked in the thousands of ballista shots so that not one of them approached the body of the witch who had summoned it. That's right. No group of people, no matter how large, could approach the mysteries of heaven. That was the reality of the fallen tower. Oh my god. Sons of Ivaldi? Is this like biblical shit? What is this real? Bestow upon me a worthy spear? What did that say? Wait, I couldn't tell what that said. What was that? I think it said soulmate or something. As a massive crimson tower that had fallen made a terrible gold-colored explosion, a massive spear appeared from inside those flames, so tall like a tower that you had to look up to see all of it. It was too large for even a giant's. That divinely beautiful spear of the gods was so massive it gave the illusion that the fallen tower had turned into a spear of the same size. It was a spear of certain victory that none could escape. That could be clipped right there. When she snapped her fingers in command, the massive tower-sized spear shot at Beatrice like a lightning bolt. It aimed right for the middle of the center of the Golden Witch's heart with extreme precision, as she danced in the gap between the towers like a butterfly, slicing straight through the air like a flash of light. Oh, it's Gunganir. Oh, it's Gunganir. Of course. Giant soldier battle line. What the fuck? This feels like a match of like Age of Empires or something. The shoulder war towers exploded in gold. They became several billion gold butterflies. Those butterflies took the shape of 7 massive armored soldiers. Each stretched a full 50 mirrors into the sky, and they lined up in front of Beatrice, protecting their master and holding massive shields that towered like windmills. Oh shit. Oh! Oh! I didn't know it was like gonna get animated and whatnot. Dude, what is... I'm still just at what the fuck is happening right now? What? It's like an anime now. They were as massive as a mountain range. The witch behind them was like a small moon hiding behind the mountains. Once in the past, when the massive shields these giants held had been readied by the whole regiment, they had protected King Wilhelm's castle not only from arrows, but from the wind and the rain. For when they had faced upwards and held their shields to the heavens, not a single raindrop got through.
神聖への敬いを忘れた魔女の哀れなことです。神の槍を巨人ごときで防げるとお思いですか？
道理ですね。人間の金属でいくら武装しようとも神の槍は防げません。マダムの見事なエポレットメイトです。
A wonderful epaulette mate by Madame. Wait, what? What does that mean? Oh yeah, you're still here, huh?
もちろん忘れませんともお師匠様。さあさあおいでなさい、ヘパイストスと弟子たち。
Disciples of Hephaestus?
我にふさわしき盾を与えたまえ。
Bestow upon me a worthy shield. Who's that? A golden whirlwind arose at the feet of the giant soldiers. There was a cloud of countless butterflies. They attached themselves to the massive shields like gold leaf, sparkling like they were a golden mirror. It was the absolute defensive wall given to a goddess by the chief of the gods. The Aegis Shield. Oh shit, the Aegis Shield. When the holy spear, which left a dignified tail behind it like a comet, crashed into the mountain range of that gold shield, there was a terrible thunderous roar. It was the creaking of the pillars that held up the heavens. The divine spear spun around and around and was sent flying in the direction of the setting sun.
ありえない。真相を防いだ。
いいえ、違います。神なる槍が避けたんです。絶対の槍と絶対の盾は争ってはいけないのが神々の掟。
Oh my god.
それはつまり防いだのと同じことですがね。
このような荒事ばかり腕を上げましたね。むしろお師匠様はこういうお遊びが相変わらず苦手なようで、わらわからのお返しだ。当天にのっとり槍には槍でお返ししましょうぞ。
If she already used the divine spear, Gungnir, then what other great spear is there? The giant soldier battle line, which had fully blocked the divine spear, released its holy gold shields. Shields fell to earth, making the ground shake. When they did, another gold whirlwind arose, and the 7 gold shields changed their form into 7 massive spears of lightning lying on the ground. At once, each one of the giants lifted one of their legs high and firmly stomped on the tips of the handles. As the earth shook with a thunderous sound, the 7 lightning spears spun beautifully and flew up above the giant soldiers' heads. They scattered into a golden splash began to fall before the giants. Each of the giants squared off, and with the force of their whole body, they kicked and smashed them. The broken pieces numbered exactly 30 and became lightning spears of exactly the same size as the originals. Oh. Which made 210 for the 7 giants, and all of those burst at once, with each splitting into 30 thorns, for a total of 6,300. Good God. They became a barrage of thunderclouds, drawing a beautiful geometric pattern. And then each changed into 3 bolts of lightning, so that 18,900 thunderbolts shot at the predecessor Beatrice. Oh my god. What is she gonna do? That bundle of almost 20,000 thunderbolts must have reduced the teacher's body to dust. There had been no resistance. Beatrice knew immediately that she had been fooled. At that time, from the direction the sun had supposedly set, she felt the impossible rays of sunlight. Hey, welcome in, Dimpers. Dimpers and friends. Appreciate the raid. Love the support. Hello, welcome in. We're in the middle of probably what is the biggest and most action-packed anime fight of this entire VN that I've seen. And I still can't fully wrap my head around it. I'm just here along for the ride. At that time, from the direction that the sun had supposedly set, she felt the impossible rays of sunlight. A brilliant ray of light shone on her profile. It was the figure of her teacher, holding aloft the spear of the gods that had supposedly been repelled a short while ago. She bore a sparkle like the sun on her back and made it shine on the incarnation of darkness. As Beatrice watched, she was trapped like a mouse in a cage, cornered in a dead end formed by the giant soldier battle line. Oh, wait for part 2? There's part 2? my god. I can't believe that. You got difficulty lurking? No worries, no worries. See what you gotta do. Once again, appreciate the raid. Please tell me this command works. Lovely! Nice. By now, the predecessor Beatrice has seized a position directly alongside that line. Is this it? Her bold expression hadn't faltered even once. Fuck, dude. God damn it. Okay, return. Her bold expression hadn't faltered even once, but now it twisted for the first time. And faster than Beatrice could click her tongue, the predecessor Beatrice released the Holy Spirit. As it leapt through the air, it changed its form once more. The Varga brothers? Giant smashing iron hammer of the heaven. What are these moves? Who's gonna win? By now it was no longer a spear, but the whirlwind of a massive hammer that raised a sound like a windstorm as it flew through the air. It was the legendary hammer that had shaken even the king of the frost giants. So, the giant soldiers couldn't escape from that fear. So, regardless of how strongly their master ordered them, they couldn't get in the path of that hammer. Back rank mate? Oh shit. Before the whirlwind of that massive chunk of metal, Beatrice was nothing more than a mere speck. The instant the whirlwind started to suck Beatrice in, she appeared to change into a massive war tower. The iron hammer smashed the war tower, scattering tremendous amounts of rubble, but it did not reach she who had escaped behind it. Furthermore, when the smoke started to settle, the war tower had sucked in the massive iron hammer without crumbling, and it blocked the way. Even the giant smashing iron hammer couldn't break the final tower protecting the witch. However, this war tower was actually the witch's last trump card. It was a war tower for dodging that could only save her from danger once. But this tower was impregnable. No weapon could break through it. At that time, the moon disappeared. As Beatrice hid in the shadows of the giant soldier battle line in the war tower, she looked up at the sky. Oh, that's cool. What she did inside the moon was the figure of a massive horse ridden by the god of war and death. The predecessor Beatrice rode the horse with him. His cloak had blocked the moon, swallowed it in an eerie shadow. And the spear of the gods was in his hand once more. In other words, it was a godly knight who had jumped over the ramparts formed by the giant soldiers and the war tower, attacking from the heavens. Something smothered mate? I think it says smothered mate. It was smothered mate. It was fun. The struggle to the death between the two witches with the same name was over. The spear that had been launched from the heavens pierced the ground. The giant soldier battle line in the war tower split up into countless gold butterflies, wrapping the area in a gold-colored storm. Then came the sound of thunder, and the sound of the falling rain. If you looked around, the rose garden was empty. The butler and the rest were watching the two witches confronting each other. Beatrice alone had changed. She had been pierced straight through by the spear, from the base of her neck and her right shoulder into her left buttocks. Okay, that's specific. Unable to even reach the ground with her feet. Horribly exposed like a pitiful pinned butterfly, tormented by the wind and rain. Yikes! Mm-mm.
さすが恐ろしいお方です。
これで決着です。ベアトリーチェ。
What the fuck are you laughing about? Beatrice wore a bitter smile of false courage. The strand of blood dangled from her mouth, making her look even more pitiful.
無限の魔女の称号と力、そしてベアトリーチェの名を今こそ返してもらいましょう。
Just like that? In the middle of her episode?
無限の魔女を語るにはお前は未熟が過ぎます。
Yikes.
やめて。ちょっとふざけたってわけじゃねえかよ。
So what is she now?
我が名を奪います。元の姿に戻してあげましょう。
Original form?
過ぎたる力を手放し、己にふさわしい生を全うするがよいでしょう。
What?
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
The human form at the other mansion? The predecessor Beatrice began to recite the words of power. When she did, small gold butterflies gathered near the skewered Beatrix and began to swarm about her. Like butterflies sucking the nectar out of flowers, they began to suck the magical power out of Beatrice, and it seemed to cause her intense pain. A cry of anguish issued from Beatrice's mouth. She no longer had any power to resist it. Oh my.
さあさあ、目を閉じてごらんなさい。思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。さあ、ベアトリーチェ、あなたも私と一緒に復唱なさい。一緒にお歌を歌いましょう。そうすればすぐに終わりますよ。あなたの苦痛が少しでも早く終わります。
そうだな。お師匠様と一緒にお歌を歌うなんてどれくらいぶりかな。
Too long.
さあ、一緒に。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
When the two of them began to recite the same song, more and more gold butterflies danced around, swarming around Beatrice.
大丈夫ですよ、お嬢様。あなたは私の弟子であることを失いますが、私の仕えるお嬢様であることに 変わりはありません。そうしたらまた一緒にご本を読んで差し上げましょう。
My goodness. I'm gonna grab some food and do something before going to bed. Best of luck on the stream, Lakos. Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate you coming through, Dempa. Hope you had a good day and enjoy the night. I'll see you later.
リンゴのパイを焼いて差し上げましょう。
Apple pie.
昔のように。
That does sound good. Man, I still need to eat dinner in general. I need to grab food.
さあさあ、
But I'm
思い
like,
出してごらんなさい。
I'm waiting for this to naturally end, and I don't know when it's gonna be.
思い出してごらんなさい。そろそろ思い出せてきたかな。なあ、お師匠様。あんたの後ろにあるそれ、思い出したかな。
何ですか？これは。
When her predecessor Beatrice looked behind her, there was an eerie hedgehog curled up there. A hedgehog? No? It was herself? There was another predecessor Beatrice whose whole body had been packed with... What? Lying there like a pincushion dog?
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。
Wait! Hold on! Did she just pull like a fucking 180?
あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。違うか。
No shot.
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどうやって殺されたのか。
What? The predecessor Beatrice was stunned. Her form gradually began to fade away.
これはいつの間に。
Oh!
最初に呼んだのは双剣の塔ではない。四つ子の塔だったのよ。
Oh.
お師匠様の左右はるかに潜んだ隠し塔が描くセブンスランクルークの死の境界線を。お師匠様はのこのこと踏み越えてきてくれた。
Oh!
チェックの発生が遅れてしまったことだけはマナー違反。率直に謝ろうぞ。
Man, I was rooting for the predecessor. Shit. The battle had been decided at the very beginning. It had been over since the time the predecessor had leaned forward, readying the holy spear to attack Beatrice, who had been wedged between her shoulder towers. The hidden towers lurking on either side had bathed her in a windstorm of ballista shots from 720 ports on both sides, pinning and killing her. Oh. However, Beatrice hadn't wanted it to be resolved. She wanted to let her teacher take her next move, and continued acting as though the game was still on. She had immediately revived her with the endless power, made her continue the game as though nothing had happened. Yeah, the Twin Towers. Insane, bruh. Although it sounds like quad Twin Towers, like two pairs. Then the predecessor slowly remembered that she had already been killed, and began to vanish completely. When she did, the spear that had pierced Beatrice also did. Beatrice finally landed on the ground. There wasn't even a trace of a scar.
楽しかったぞ。
She won. Okay. What the fuck?
お師匠様。また遊びたくなったらいつでも蘇らせてやるよ。 それで適当に遊んだら死体だったことをまた思い出させてやるからさ。
Oh. Oh. Okay.
なあ、ちゃんとあんたの言いつけは守ってるぜ。おもちゃは遊び終わったらちゃんとおもちゃ箱にしまいましょうってな。
Oh, that sucks.
楽勝でございますかな。
愚かに新章だ。四つ子島で騙せてなかったら死んでおったのはわらわの方よ。さすがはお師匠さんだが、これで胸が張れるというもの。わらわは今こそお師匠様を完全に超えたとな。ロノウェ、
Or no.
お師匠様の亡骸をもう少しマシにしておけ。わらわもそこまで敬意を失ってはおらぬでな。
かしこまりました。今宵の第一の晩は少々派手に暴れすぎました。
Yeah, I'll say it. Y'all raised fucking towers out of the goddamn ground.
少しは片付けも必要でしょう。すぐに取り掛かります。ヤギたちよ、お片付けの時間ですよ。
While Rono snapped his fingers, blazing, sparkling eyes began to blink open in the shadows and darkness, becoming goat-headed attendants that appeared one after another. One by one, they wordlessly stood at attention, a line behind Rono's back.
この度は6人の遺体をどのようにいたしますか。また密室形式に。
わらわは今それを考える気分にない。ロノウェに任す。バトラーを悩ませるようなとびっきりの密室を頼むぞ。
An extraordinary closed room, don't torment. Oh, okay.
かしこまりました。それではとびきりの。
God damn it, man. Alright, I gotta be real. I don't know when this is gonna like kind of just naturally end, and I still need to eat before rage. I will save it here. I will save it here. It could be close right around the corner, but I can't tell for sure. We'll save. Hell of a good prog, though. Hell of a good fucking prog. Holy shit, that anime fight is like... That's like Kino, bro. That whole entire fight between them. Oh my god. It's fine, a little raid, appreciate it. Hey, no problem for the stream, man. No problem. You know, we will be every Thursday. We'll be here. Good luck with y'all then as well. GG's, GG's. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see y'all later.